everyone. My name is Dr. Laura Donaldson, and I am delighted to be a part of this Summer of Love event focusing on the emotional well-being of dogs. And I want to thank Pet Remedy for enabling this wonderful focus. So when I was thinking about what I could contribute, I kept coming back to this issue of stubborn dogs because it's one that comes up quite frequently, and it's one that I've spent a lot of time thinking about and dealing with in my real life behavior consulting practice. So I want to share some of that with you today. And of course, I'll say more as we go along. So right now, I'm going to share the screen. And I hope you can see this. No stubborn dogs. There's no stubborn dogs. There's only confused, hurting, or traumatized ones. So I want to hopefully maybe give you some ways to reframe what's happening when our dogs refuse what we are asking of them. So I am a retired university professor who for the last 20 years has been doing full-time dog behavior consulting. And the focus of my practice has been dogs struggling with aggression and dogs struggling with trauma. I'm a certified dog behavior consultant with the IAABC. I am a Karen Pryor certified training partner, and I am a certified trauma professional. And I hope some of the ideas that I share with you briefly today might help you reframe and maybe respond differently to your dog the next time they stop on a walk or refuse or resist something that you are asking of them. So this might look really familiar, right? This is a young dog who has plopped themselves down in the middle of a leash walk, and I'm sure the human, we can only see his feet here, is wondering, what do I need to do to get my dog moving again? Dogs usually do not stop unless they are finding the situation they are in to be untenable. And that's what I want to talk about. So resistance comes in many forms. One form is the stopping, right? Or refusing, not coming in from the backyard, refusing to leave the house. I've worked with dogs who refuse to leave the house. And this is another form of resistance. This is a dog with whom I worked who would grab the leash. And please believe me when I say this is not a friendly behavior. He had actually pulled his female human over and she could not walk him anymore. The male owner was a big burly guy, and even he was having trouble controlling this dog. This is resistance. And the question is not to create what I call toxic narratives about the dog. They're willful, they're untrainable, they're unlovable. It's instead to ask, why are you doing this? What is motivating this behavior? So resistance this refusal, plopping down on a leash walk, grabbing the leash, refusing to leave the house, not coming in from the backyard. I mean, the list is endless because it's different for every dog. Resistance includes behaviors avoiding the places, activities, or subjects associated with a traumatic event or experience, a stressful event or experience. It could be that, for example, the last time you called the dog in from the backyard, you immediately took them and plopped them in the bathtub for a bath. Dogs quickly learn that doesn't work. Next time I'm going to just say no. But the larger takeaway here is that stopping on walks, for example, let's just stay with that, is the dog's communication to us. It is a form of communication. Dogs use what they have, their body language, their behavior, their vocalizations to quote unquote talk to us. When they lie down on a walk and refuse to go forward, they're communicating to us that they're finding this situation untenable, either because of physical pain or emotional distress. It could be that they're also confused about what we are asking, but I have found over my 20 years working with dog behavior, it's much more likely to be physical pain, emotional distress. And again, those two things often go together. A perspective emphasizing well-being would listen to the dog. They're communicating to us. We want to listen and take this communication very seriously. This can happen even in something like house training, an everyday experience that every dog living in a household, whatever it is, needs to learn. Resistance can even impact house training. How is that? Because the dog's resistance to house training can often be caused by significant stress, fear, even trauma issues. This is especially true for pooping because it takes longer than peeing, and it also, and this is really key, necessitates that dogs adopt a more vulnerable physical position. I've worked with dogs who were very difficult to house train. These were dogs that were a year old, a year and a half, years old, and they still were not house trained. Why is this? In many cases, it's because trauma is impacting their ability to feel safe outside. They viewed outside, even their backyards, as far too dangerous to toilet. Much safer to just come inside where I know, I'm safe, I'll survive, and poop behind the couch. I have dealt with this by insisting on safety with dogs who find it very difficult, who just do not want to defecate outside. And this is one of the ways that I've developed to resolve this, and that is to set up an enclosed safety space outside. This is in a client with whom I work. We set this up in the backyard for this dog. It's a lab pit bull mix. who absolutely did not want to go outside and toilet. This dog did learn to pee outside, so she would go outside, pee very quickly, run back inside, and almost immediately defecate in the house. Why was she doing this? In this dog's case, it was trauma issues. She did not feel safe outside. So we had to address that. We could have said, you're a bad dog, you're a naughty dog, you're untrainable. But instead, we attended to her emotional well-being. We recognized that she was not feeling safe outside, and so we devised a way to deal with this. And actually, this was quite successful, although I'm delighted to say that the dog made it her own, right? This is just a sun tent that people put up in their backyards all the time, and we clipped a couple of sheets and in this side a tarp on it. But the dog actually went around the tent because she found a three-sided enclosed space. One side was the tarp on the tent. The second side was the back of the house. And the third side was actually the side of the garage. And she started pooping regularly in that safe space, which you'll see in the last clip of this video. This is the dog, very cute, very sweet dog. And you see the three sides. There's one, there's two, and there's three. And this dog says, I'm safe, I'm gonna go. We were thrilled, to be honest, when we took this video, because for months the dog's human had been struggling with pooping in the house. And I just want to remind people that one of the two major reasons that people surrender dogs to shelters is due to incomplete, failed house training. So may sound kind of routine, but in terms of the well-being of dogs, this is a major issue, because dogs have lost their forever homes and probably been eventually euthanized for this as well, if they were not adopted. So what are the takeaways from this? First, resistance is information. Resistance is communication. It's information. And our job is to listen to our dogs, pay attention, and ask them, okay, what do I need to learn from you to help you move forward freely on this walk, or feel safe to poop in the backyard? The list is probably endless. Resistance is also a survival strategy. It's not our dogs being stubborn, lazy, blowing us off, or just deliberately trying to make us crazy, by interrupting our walk. I've heard that from at least one or two clients. It is a survival strategy for subjects, human and canine, who do not want to engage with something that is potentially stressful, painful, or threatening. In this respect, dogs are no different than humans, and slapping what I call toxic narratives onto dogs, they're stubborn, they're naughty, they're willful, really repeats the toxic narratives that I talked briefly about in the first part of the session. Instead of responding to our dog's refusals, they're stopping, they're grabbing the leash, or other forms of resistance by implying that they are somehow deficient or naughty, we should instead be asking, what has happened to you that is motivating this behavior? What do I need to learn from you to help you feel safe, able to move forward on this walk, or able to go out into the backyard and toilet? You do not want to respond with judgment, but instead empathy. That is what we do for a partner. And that is my model of the dog-human bond. It is a partnership. We both learn from each other. It is mutual interspecies cooperation. So I want to leave you with this thought. And it's a quite beautiful quote, but it captures so much of what I've been trying to share with you this evening. And that is being heard at a core level and seen for who we really are is one of the most healing things we can do with and for each other. We want for ourselves to be seen and heard in an authentic way. And we need to do the same thing for our dogs, to hear them when they are communicating to us, not just dismiss it with a toxic label, and not impute to them characteristics that, really don't fit. I think I might have mentioned, I've never met a stubborn dog. I've met confused ones, hurting ones. I've met traumatized ones, stressed dogs, but I've never met a dog who is just stubborn and blowing me off. Much more likely to happen with us humans, to be quite honest, not our dogs. But this issue of hearing and seeing each other for who we are, to me, describes emotional well-being at its purest. And it is one of the most healing things we can do with and for each other. So thank you for listening. I'm sure that you are going to have my contact information. If you have questions, please feel free to contact me via my website or my Facebook page. And I wish you all good things with your dog. Take care. Bye-bye.